we don't have the best weather, but we sure don't have the sunshine, but we got the soul shine, don't we? Now, where are the Liberal and Conservative candidates, MPs and MPPs? I don't see them. They're not raising their hands because they're not here. We're here. Ian Nichols, our brother from Haldeman, Norfolk, our federal candidate, is here. Brian Van Tilburg, multi-time candidate for the Brant NDP, he's here. Our young NDP is here. Our president of our NDP is here. But a lot of local politicians from the federal and provincial level aren't here. They were damn sure here when this strike started, taking their photos, hopping on with their videos, but it started to get a little messy. It started to get not so clean. It started to get emotional. Imagine that. This is starting to get emotional. It should be emotional, not just for the union membership, but for the entire working class in this community. A working class that's tired of getting kicked around.
Right on!
Well, thank you for that warm welcome, sisters and brothers. I have to say it's not my first time here. And I wish I could say I was happy to be here, but I ain't happy. And I know you're not happy either. And we're not going to be happy until we get some justice in the province of Ontario. Justice for workers. Now today I did ask the Premier if he was going to do just that. In question period today I asked the Premier, will you bring justice to the workers in Brantford and bring anti-scab legislation into the legislature and have it passed so that we can bring a level playing field back to the labour relations system in the province of Ontario? Now, what do you think he said?
No! No!
Oh, it's worse than that. He didn't even have the decency to answer my question directly. How shameful and disgusting is that? That the Premier doesn't answer the question and that the Minister of Labour doesn't have the time of day for this struggle. Doesn't have the time of day for not only the workers here in Brantford, but the Minister of Labour for the province of Ontario doesn't have the time of day for any workers as long as they allow scabs to cross picket lines and take your jobs. And I'm here to tell you once again that I stand in solidarity with these workers here and every worker across this province that's been demanding justice. And our message is clear. We will stand in solidarity with you on every single fight, on every single picket line. And we will do everything we can to bring anti-scab legislation into the legislature and to force Ontario's government to bring it forward and pass it. You need to know that New Democrats are on your side. We've always been on your side. And we're going to be with you until we change the labour relations atmosphere in this province to one of respect and dignity and justice for workers. Thank you, sisters and brothers. Congratulations to the solidarity that's here today.
I'm really pleased to be here in solidarity not only with the dozens and dozens, hundreds of people from the labour movement, but also people from the broader Brant community. And the message I think that everyone sends today is we stand together. We stand together with these workers who are being dealt a brutal blow by this company who doesn't care about them, doesn't care about their standard of living, and as a result, really doesn't care about the community. But as long as we stand together, we'll get justice for these workers and we'll send the message that people have a right to not only a decent quality of life, but to a healthy, strong community. A healthy, strong community that comes with good paying, decent jobs and dignity in the workplace.
I'm here today to support the ECP workers on the strike line. We need anti-scab legislation now. The next election, I hope Ontarians will elect more New Democrats. This fight isn't just about the workers here today, it's about all Ontarians. It's about me, it's about my future generation. I don't want my friends to have to go through temp agencies. I don't want their jobs being taken away by scab workers in the future.
We're here today with ECP. We're supporting the workers and trying to show the people the the province of Ontario that we need the anti-scab legislation. Not only here in Brant, but in my riding of Haldimand Norfolk, we've seen it down there with the steelworkers and their picket line down there with their action that they had for almost a year, over a year. Here it's been 2 years. It's absolutely disgusting what's going on here, but it's happening all over the province of Ontario. My fellow New Democrats and I are standing in solidarity with them, as the other union brothers and sisters are doing today, and they've shown it here today on the picket line. We've shut them down for 3 days, and we're so proud of that. I'm so proud of the union members coming down and helping out, and the people passing by honking their horns. We know the people are behind us. We just have to get the message out and stand solid together. So really looking forward to tomorrow and our march down to the law courts and the City Hall down here in Brantford, and we can do the job and get the message across to everybody. So anti-scab legislation now in Ontario. Thank you.
84 families here that are putting their heart and soul on the line, and we need to support them, and we will every step of the way.
Absolutely.
So, sisters and brothers, of course we've had retirees as well on these picket lines. And of course the reason we're all here is the common denominator, not only in this strike, but in every other strike where they're using scabs across this province. The common denominator is the longevity of those strikes. Take a look at Ballyinco up in the Sudbury region. It went for over 12 months long because they were able to bust scabs across the picket lines. Sears right now today have been out on strike. The Sears warehouse in North York has been out for 6 months. This strike has gone on astonishingly for over 2 years. In fact, I'd rather say 753 days on a picket line, standing for dignity and for justice and just for basic humanity. That's what you've been standing out on this line for. What kind of intestinal fortitude it must take to stand on a picket line day after day after day and watch these scabs come in and take the bread off of your table when you know full well that you don't have the money to pay the rent. You haven't got the money to pay the mortgage. Your kids can't get the money to go to university or to purchase the books. Or as a press release we put out today said, there's a woman in this community, she can't even buy clothing for her kids going back to school. That's the kind of indignities you're being forced to suffer every single day of the week. And when McGuinty was challenged in the legislature, he says we don't need legislation to deal with these kinds of problems. Well, the hell with you, Dalton McGuinty. The Labour movement is going to put this issue back onto the agenda again in this province. No longer are we going to sit back and let these scabs take their job. We've shut these bastards down for 3 days, and we can shut them down again, sisters and brothers. We can shut them down again. Only the next time we're coming back in the very near future, and I hope you document this in the media. We're coming back, but we're not telling you what day we're coming back the next time. We'll just come back and shut them down without even telling them. My friends, we owe a great deal of indebtedness to this local. The intestinal fortitude to stand here for so long and not to have one of their workers cross that picket line is absolutely phenomenal. That is, I'm telling you, that's going to get you in the pits of your stomach if nothing else does. Let's make sure we take this message on the road, take it to every community, making sure that every worker in this province understands, whether you're on strike or not, that anti-scab legislation is the cornerstone on which the Labour movement will be built in the years to come. We stop the scabs coming in, then we've got a fighting chance at the bargaining table to raise people out of poverty and give them a decent collective agreement. It can only be done when you bring in anti-scab legislation. My friends, again, thank you very much to the USW 1500 for having the guts and the courage to stay on that picket line for 2 solid years. Thank you.
Baby, don't mind me getting caught in the rain. And lives might have passed by, but I don't feel the same. My baby knows I don't like no pink lemonade. I'd rather cool off my days with her in the shades, put her a love song. Love song. Wrote you love song. Maybe don't mind staying out all night, putting X's on mosquito bites. Baby says coffee ain't really good for my soul. The only one to hold my heart.
Sisters and brothers, let's talk about the real heroes of this battle. It has to be the 84 members of USW 1500 who stayed on that picket line for 754 days and counting, and not one single worker has crossed that picket line in 754 days. That takes real courage. That takes real commitment.
I'm here today because we're sick and tired of having scabs come across our line and steal our jobs. The time has come for anti-scab legislation. It's long overdue. We had it back in the 90s. It worked. We never had strikes last 2 years. These people are suffering. The community is suffering. We marched today. I was very heartened to see that many people in the Brantford community were coming outside their doors as we were marching by and giving us a thumbs up and waving at us and giving us a lot of positive encouragement. And that speaks volumes about the Brantford community.
We have to show our feelings to the governments to show, like, listen guys, it's time to wake up. It's not a show, as McGinty's saying that we don't need laws to saying that we have to, we don't need anti-scab legislations. You know what guys, wake up, we do need it. The proof is there. You got companies that have been on strike for 2 years. Come on, that's 2 years. That's a long time to be out in the streets picketing for what you earn.
You know, I almost to a point now where I'm believing that maybe the judges in Ontario should be elected like they are in the States and answer to the people instead of being appointed and leaning towards companies rather than against workers. It's time for change there too. We're constantly at them every day in that house, and we constantly are getting slapped in the face. But we're not going to give up. We're not going away, and we're going to be with you, behind you, and you're going to be behind us in the next election, and we're going to knock these buggers out.
A great pleasure to introduce somebody here, and he was on the line last night with us very quickly, and he was instrumental in getting the expositor there quickly. So right now I'd like to introduce Marc Laferriere.
It's been a good 3 days, hasn't it? Now what's interesting is it's not just union folks that are tired. What I've been noticing, what we noticed last night, is there might be something to the social media thing. Because not only have union brothers and sisters been coming out, but community members have been coming out in solidarity. I'd like to hear it for all those people who've been coming out, who aren't attached to a union, who've just been coming out because it's the right thing to do. We appreciate it. Yesterday, the three brothers who held the line sent some stuff out on social media. I sent some stuff out on social media, and within minutes, there was about a dozen people, nothing to do with a union, just coming out to make sure things were happening the right way. They were coming out and taking notes in case they had to be witnesses. They were coming out because they see that there's a point to solidarity that has something to do with community. That has something to do with what's right about this country, where this country has been and where we need to be again.